Hello there and welcome to another gluten-free and yeast-free baking video. How are we doing today? Today I'm going to be making a gluten-free simple lemon tray cake. And I love this recipe, so much so that my parents do as well, and I have to fight for them to even be able to get a slice of it. So, you will be needing the following equipment: scales, a 34cm oven tray, spray oil, baking paper, a zester, a spatula, a teaspoon, a cake tester, a skewer or a toothpick, a large mixing bowl, a wooden spoon or an electric hand whisk, and a cooling rack. You will also be needing the following ingredients: 200 grams of butter softened at room temperature. I like to use lactose-free butter. 200 grams of caster sugar, 4 medium-sized eggs beaten, 200 grams of gluten-free self-raising flour, and the zest of 2 lemons. First things first, measure out all of your ingredients so that they're completely ready for you to use, and then preheat your oven to 190 degrees C on a conventional oven, 170 degrees C if you're using a fan oven, or gas mark 5. Let's go! Now that you have done that, we will prepare our oven trays. So to start with, I like to give the tray a really good spritz of oil, making sure to get all the sides so that the cake won't stick to it. Place that on there so I don't lose the lid. And now open up your baking paper if you haven't already. I mean, this is a new roll for me, but we won't go into that too much. Move that out of the way. Place your baking paper underneath your baking tray, getting it as close to the edge as possible so that you don't waste any paper. That is very important. No, do it this way because then I've got more control over it. Is it right that side? There we go. Place that back in its box. And now draw around the bottom of your baking tray. And now cut out what you've just drawn. Place your rubbish to one side. Place your baking paper with the side you used the pen on down so that your cake doesn't touch it. Flatten it in your baking tray. There we go, that's nice. Now give it another quick spritz so that it is easier for your cake to come off the baking paper without the baking paper taking too much off your cake. Now that you've prepared your baking tray, the first thing we have to do in actually making the cake is to mix together your butter and your sugar. So to start with, place all your butter into your mixing bowl. And now sprinkle on your caster sugar, wiping down the sides just to make sure you've got it all in there. And mix until light and fluffy. Now that that is all done, grab your eggs. Now that you've got your eggs, just tip them in one big go. Again, scraping down the sides of your bowl to make sure it's all in there, because otherwise there was no point in doing it. The next thing you need to do is mix them all together, and it is really important at this stage, okay? You need to make sure that all the butter is mixed in and there are no lumps left, as if you leave it, there will be loads of holes in your cake. And I also think that doing it for a longer period of time, making sure it is all incorporated, makes the cake fluffier in the first place. Now that that is all nice and smooth, grab your gluten-free self-raising flour. Now that you've got your gluten-free self-raising flour, mixing all the time, add a little bit at a time of your flour to your mixture until fully combined. Right, you need to be over here. Again, how many times have I done this? Now that you've done that, just scrape down your flour bowl. And now scrape down the sides of your mixing bowl, just to make sure that it all gets mixed together. And mix one final time for good luck. Now that you've done this, grab your lemon zest. Now that you've got your lemon zest, add it in one big go, sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Again, scraping down the bowl to make sure you don't lose any of it. Get in there. And again, mix until fully combined. Now that that is fully combined and smelling, oh, just amazing, grab your oven tray. Now that you've got your oven tray, just simply tip your mixture into it. And now that that is all done, just spread your mixture out to the sides. And now that that is all done, just give it a quick jiggle around just to make sure it gets in all the corners. You don't need to worry about getting it as flat as possible because it flattens out in the oven on its own. And now that that is completely done, place it into your preheated oven for 15 to 20 minutes until you insert a cake tester, a skewer, a toothpick or a teaspoon handle and it comes out completely clean. Now that your cake is cooked and has had plenty of time to cool for the first 10 minutes in its tray and then for the rest on the cooling rack, that is it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Check out the links in the description where you'll see the recipe for this lovely cake and you'll also see my shop where you can get all the flour and equipment you will need for this recipe. If you do make this cake at home, please be sure to tag me on Instagram and use the hashtag bakingwithvickiie, which I will put in between my hands. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see me make, gluten or yeast free, as I do both. And finally, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time. Bye! Well, I best try this for you because I just can't resist it. It's so nice and smelling delicious.